Our episode mentions the ancient Chinese philosopher Mencius' teaching on respecting nature. In your culture, are there traditional ideas of similar meaning? And how are these concepts reflected in contemporary ecological conservation policies or public behaviors?
The concept of harmony between humans and nature that Mencius advocated resonates deeply with our Mexican tradition. Indigenous cultures like the Maya and the Mexicas considered the earth a sacred living being. They believed that humans were deeply connected to natural cycles such as rain, harvest, and the four elements. To keep this balance, they perform rituals to thank the earth for the harvest or to ask for rain. And today, these ideas are still reflected in modern environmental policies and programs. For example, the program Sembrando Vida, or Sowing Life in English, the largest reforestation and rural development program in Latin America. It supports more than 400,000 farmers to plant trees and restore degraded land in the Lacandon jungle, Selva Lacandona in Spanish. The Lacandon jungle is the largest tropical rainforest in Mexico and one of the most biodiverse regions in the world, home to jaguars, tapirs, howler monkeys, and scarlet macaws. Decades of logging and cattle ranching damaged large part of the forest, but thanks to Sembrando Vida and community projects, thousands of hectares have been reforested with native trees like cedro rojo and caoba. Farmers also combine reforestation with agroforestry, growing cacao and coffee under the shade of the trees, which provides them with income while protecting biodiversity.
Our episode shows that 3 generations of people at Saihanba have transformed a desert into an oasis over more than half a century and even won UN environmental awards. Are there similar long-term ecological restoration projects in your country?
Yes, a good example is the monarch butterfly biosphere reserve, which is located in the central part of Mexico. Every year, millions of monarch butterflies migrate more than 4,000 kilometers from Canada and the United States to spend the winter in this highland forest in Mexico. However, in the past decades, deforestation and illegal logging severely damaged the fir and pine forest where the butterfly rest. This not only threatened the species, but also the local communities whose traditions and economies are linked to the butterflies. Since the 1980s, local people, NGOs, and the government have worked together to restore these forests. Communities have reforested thousands of hectares with native trees, created also sustainable tourism projects, and developed alternative sources of income that reduce pressure on the forest. In 2008, the UNESCO declared the monarch butterfly biosphere reserve a World Heritage Site, which gave international recognition to these efforts. Today, the monarch butterfly reserve protects more than 56,000 hectares forest that once faced collapse now shelter millions of butterflies each winter. So it stands as a proof that long-term intergenerational commitment can restore and protect an ecosystem. It also shows how conservation can combine cultural traditions, scientific knowledge, and community participation. So just like Saihanba in China, the monarch butterfly reserve in Mexico demonstrate that with patience, dedication, and collaboration across generations, ecosystems can recover and even become symbols of national pride and international recognition.
So, China has not only protected giant pandas, but also protected more than 8,000 species of associated flora and fauna through the umbrella effect. So, are there native rare species in your country?
Yes, Mexico also has native rare species that are very important for our biodiversity. And protecting them also helps to conserve entire ecosystems. One example is the axolotl, an amphibian that only lives in the lakes and canals of Xochimilco in the south of Mexico City. It is considered a cultural symbol, but today it is critically in danger because of water pollution and urbanization. And to protect it, researchers from my home university, the National Autonomous University of Mexico, or UNAM, and local communities have created refuges inside the chinampas, such as the project Chinampa Refugio Ajolote in San Gregorio, Atlapulco, where clean channels are maintained for axolots while farmers can grow crops like lettuce, corn, and flowers in a sustainable way. And this protection has an umbrella effect too. By cleaning the water and restoring the chinampas for axolots, we are also protecting many other species that live in the same habitat, like native fish such as charal, aquatic plants, water birds, and even insects. So it's not just about saving the axolotl. The whole Xochimilco ecosystem benefits, including the traditional farming system that has existed for centuries.
During the construction of the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge, the construction plan was adjusted to realize no casualty or relocation of white dolphins. In your country, when there is a potential conflict between infrastructure construction and ecological conservation, what kind of solution is usually adopted?
Similar to the white dolphin case, when there's a conflict between construction and ecology in Mexico, we try to adjust the project to minimize harm. So the project usually involves environmental impact assessments, which are required by law and supervised by Semarnat, that is the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources in Mexico. So these studies evaluate whether a project can proceed and typically recommend mitigation measures. A good example is the Nuevo Scan Playa del Carmen highway. They actually changed the original design to protect jaguar habitat and built wildlife bridges and underpasses at strategic points. The idea was to let jaguars, ocelots, monkeys, and deer cross safely and keep the ecosystem connected. So the construction adapts to the wildlife, not the other way around. Kind of like what happened with the white dolphins. So basically, Mexico tries to balance development and conservation through EIAs, wildlife crossings, and sometimes changing the project designs.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.